Hello, mate. Right. Our next episode for everyone on the Australian Open. We've got together. Robert's with his wine, and I'm here. I don't have any sort of beverage with me, but I'm ready and roaring for our recap of what's gone on with the Australian Open. So let's crack right into it. Milos Raonic. Milos Raonic will never, ever, ever beat Novak Djokovic, because I watched this match, and when he got the second set, I thought, okay, Novak's slightly injured. Here comes Milos with his big serve, and Novak's in danger. Quite the opposite. Quite the opposite. And when I look at Milos, no offense, Milos, if you listen to this, he's just too heavy set around the court. You're looking at Novak, who's like a Ferrari, just gliding, even with his little bit of his injury. And then you've got Milos, who just looks so slow to the ball, apart from that big serve. Regardless, Milos, it ain't never happening. I thought it was going to be the case that nobody beats Milos Raonic 12 times in a row. Well, they do. And I reckon Novak will beat you another 12 times in a row. So that's not going to happen. And unfortunately for Robert, he lost some money on that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I mean, I have to be honest, Johnny. We spoke about it afterwards, and we're going to be talking about it now in the podcast. I said to you, I'm a big fan of Novak, as I am of Nadal and Thiem and Daniel Medvedev, etc., etc. But I said to you, this was an opportunity I could not resist. I could not resist having a bet against the mighty Novak. No offense, Novak, you had an injury. It was quite a bad one. Well, it is a bad one. You were going to pull out. You were going to retire. And I thought, you know what? This is Milos's opportunity. This is his chance. 11 head-to-head matches. Surely there's one time he's got to beat Novak, and he's going to have to beat Novak now when Novak's not at his best. And then when I watched that match and I saw him come back, Novak, I thought, oh, here we go. The same old, mighty Novak. And then you know what? I wasn't that disappointed. It was pocket money I put on this match. It was good odds on Milos. But I said to you afterwards, and I say it now, oh my goodness, Milos. I totally concur, Johnny, with what you're saying. He does look a little bit heavy, heavy-footed on the court. But I thought, Milos, you're never going to beat Novak.
No.
I'd be scratching my head thinking, if I can't beat Novak when he's at his best, and I can't beat Novak when he has an injury, I don't think I'm ever going to beat Novak.
So true.
That's it for me. That's it.
Yeah.
And never going to happen.
No.
Unfortunately, it's never going to happen.
No. Robert and I concurred. Milos, it's not happening, mate. Not today, not tomorrow, not ever. Right? Okay, moving on to the next, some highlights. And what the hell happened to Dominic Thiem? Straight sets against Grigor Dimitrov, who, I'm not being funny, he hasn't exactly been on an upward trajectory as Grigor. He was known as Baby Fed, the men's talent, but his career since winning the ATP End of Tour has gone downward trajectory. And then when I looked at that, I must admit, I didn't watch the match because it was too late. But when I looked at it, I had to take a double take. Straight sets to Dimitrov. I can only think the lack of crowd had some effect. I don't know what happened.
Well, Johnny, I didn't watch the match either. But, if you go onto the Australian Open website, which I know you obviously have been on, you can see the highlights. And I watched the highlights. And the truth is, Dominic just wasn't in the match. Dimitrov was absolutely on fire. He was getting shots which Thiem couldn't get back to, and the commentators were just saying, oh my goodness, what a return, what a serve, what a shot. And Dominic Thiem must have been absolutely taken by surprise. And they just said he just wasn't on his game. But you could understand that in the first set and the second set, Donomic did some great shots where they went, that's the Donomic. That's a Donomic team that we know. Number 3 in the world. That's a great shot. And then Dimitrov just got another one and another one and another one, right? But what surprised me the most is how does a player like Donomic Thiem not even get one game against Dimitrov in the third set? I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just one of those random moments in Donomic's life, a bit like what Halep had last year and stuff. Next year, probably a totally different story. He's probably going to smash Dimitrov, off the court.
But
Might even do
worry
that
me.
if it's Wimbledon or something else, but I don't get it.
But it does worry me how sometimes Dominic, he's amazing professional and incredible athlete and talent and stuff, and he's a real fighter. But sometimes in certain matches, in certain situations, a bit like the O2, I know he had won the kind of qualified, but it sort of goes away when it's inevitable, the loss. I don't know, little question mark there for future Grand Slams, don't know. Other headlines were that the Russian qualifier, Aslan Karastev, everybody listening to this knows that Rob and I are not the greatest linguists and our pronunciations are not the best, but nevertheless, we'll keep on trying. Made history with a 5-set comeback, and 35-year-old Hissi Su Wei became the oldest player to ever reach
Right.
a Grand Slam quarterfinal. To confess, never heard of him at all. So on the women's side, though, fascinating match. Naomi Osaka saved 2 match points to beat Gabi Muguruza in an epic 3-set clash. I must admit, I wish I saw that match. It sounds like a real popcorn match. So that usually bodes well when you save match points. You usually go on to win the title, which will make Robert happy.
Of which, Johnny, I have my money on Osaka, Barty, and Daniel Medvedev at the moment to get to the final each way.
Well, they look all very, very good. Before Serena Williams also beat the 7th seed in a 3-set encounter as well, in terms of her match. I'll be honest with you, Serena's surprising me a little in this Grand Slam, and I'm a little bit worried.
Well, I've got an opinion on that.
Go on.
Well, you see, what they say is Serena has an aura about her in this tournament. Maybe it's because she feels age is catching up. Maybe she's feeling there aren't going to be many opportunities out there to win another Grand Slam. She is the greatest woman tennis player out there, along with Steffi Graf. And maybe she's just feeling one more Grand Slam, please. Personally, I don't think she's going to win the final. Personally, I don't think she's going to get another Grand Slam. However, you've got a match coming up tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock UK time, being Halep versus Serena Williams. Now, I've been reading about this. Now, at first sight, my money is on Halep. I love Halep. I think she's a great player. You know, she beat Swiatek, which was a fantastic game the other day. And, you know, again, that's like a little bit of justice on the fact that Swiatek knocked her out in the French Open.
Yeah.
And, you know, Halep came back and she beat Swiatek and beat Swiatek convincingly. Now, see, Johnny, they were talking about Halep and Serena Williams head-to-head. Now, on paper, Serena Williams has beaten Halep more times than Halep has beaten Serena Williams. However, they referred back to that 2019 win in the Wimbledon final, which you and I were watching. And I said to you, Halep was on fire, absolute on fire, all the way through Wimbledon, where Serena seemed to get through to the final, but never really had any, you know, opponent that was any real challenge. And we all knew that she's going to come up against Halep And Halep absolutely thrashed her 6-2, 6-2. And I saw that. I saw the writing on the wall. I had my money on Halep. I even said 2 sets, and 2 sets came in. But they're all saying, Johnny, they're all saying that Serena wants blood. She's after for revenge. She
Yeah.
wants to beat Halep to get her own back on that 2019 loss.
Yeah,
And
she thrashed
secondly,
her, didn't she? Halep.
yeah, and secondly, more importantly, Serena has played more hard court matches. In fact, she's played double the hard court matches last year than what Halep has. So they're saying Serena is on fire. So she is the favourite tomorrow, but Halep is on evens. And as much as Serena might be on fire, somehow I think Halep's going to beat her. So that's where my money's going.
I'm also in agreement. I'm going to pick Halep. I know.
But it will be 3 sets.
Yeah, I think so. I don't foresee a thrashing. You never know. I have to make a correction. He say Su Wei, with my fabulous pronunciation, is actually female, and she's the oldest female player to reach the quarterfinal at 35 years old. She plays Osaka. So just for anyone listening there, a slight correction to what I said. But
And
Halep,
it will be Osaka that will win because that's where my money is.
yeah, I agree with you. I think in terms of the matches ahead, I think Dimitrov against Aslan Karastav, well, it's going to be Dimitrov, in my opinion. Serena Williams, we've covered that. Simona Halep, I think Simona Halep's a bit naughty of the bookmakers. He's a bit too tight, the odds. I'm not that happy with it somehow. Although they're making Serena favourite. The popcorn match, or it could be a flop. Zverev against Djokovic. Who's going to win that?
Well, I said it and I thought it. I think Novak will. And I'll tell you why. Zverev has had a great tournament. Zverev is great, great player, right? But I think the drama with Novak is over. I think if he was to lose, he should have lost the other day to Milos. I think Novak is back where he needs to be. And somehow
Rob, the
the
injury.
great Spider-Man of Novak is going to come through.
Are you picking Novak now? Because I think we spoke about this offline. And
No,
I think... Oh, it's a tough one.
I don't think so. Look, I like Zverev. I like Zverev a lot. Somehow, I think Novak, he does this sometimes. They can sometimes have these moments of shock. And that could have been a shock match against Milos. He came through in the match before that when he, obviously had an injury. Somehow, I think he's not going to allow this to then not allow him to get to the final. I think it's going to be Novak and Daniil Medvedev. That's what I think. I think somehow Novak is just going to get through. But 4 sets.
Look, on their best, it's Novak for me, for sure. They've had a tough battle in the ATP Cup, which I think Djokovic won. His injury is my only concern. I think I'm not going to put a bet on him right now. I'm going to watch the first few games to see, if everything's all okay. If everything's all okay, I concur Djokovic. I do have a feeling, though, maybe Zverev could pull through. But if they're at their best, it's Djokovic all day long for me. The odds, well, the bookies agree with you, Robert. 1-2 Djokovic, 6-4 Zverev. Although, his odds were quite way out there. At one point, you could have got 10-3 on Djokovic to win the title. I think they're vastly shortened now after that Milos match. Other notable things, Barty looks good. She's 1-6 against her opponent. That looks like a bit of a hiding against Carolina Mushova. And then we've got the Battle of the Russians, Rublev versus Medvedev. But Medvedev usually gives Rublev a bit of a hiding.
Yes, he does. He does.
And he's
His head.
1 to
His head
3.
to head is great. Sorry,
Yes.
Johnny, you've got to speak up.
Yeah. So 1 to 3 with Medvedev versus Rublev. So Rublev just can't get Daniel's number, I don't believe. So I think Daniel Medvedev's going through. Another absolutely cracker match. Tsitsipas versus Nadal. Who's going to win that?
Nadal. It's going to be close.
Even
I
with the
reckon it
back?
could be 4 sets or 5.
Well, the odds are 7 to 4. Stefanos. 2 to 5 Nadal. Again, Nadal, a bit like Djokovic, got a bit of an injury thing, but he looks better. Who am I going to pick? I'm going to pick Tsitsipas.
Look, I love Tsitsipas. He's a great player. But this is the great Nadal you're talking about.
That's true.
Somehow Nadal just, I don't know, he just comes through. I think it'd be close. I think it could be a 5-setter.
Do you think after all this and after everything we've spoken about with all these players, do you think we're going to get, in the end, the Nadal-Djokovic final?
Who knows? I think it could be, yeah, possibly. But look, I've got my money on Barty, Osaka, and Daniel Medvedev. I've placed those bets each way that they get to the final. It could be Nadal. Not too sure. I think Nadal will beat Tsitsipas. I think Nadal is hungry, but I think, I've seen it before. Daniel Medvedev, Dominic Thiem, they've proven to be able to beat, the Novaks and the Nadals at the very best. Somehow I think that Nadal will win. Somehow I think Novak will come through against Zverev. Otherwise, Zverev could be going for his first Grand Slam.
That's very true.
Who knows? And
Who
Johnny,
knows?
just to remind you, the other day you said about Bencic against Merton, Elise Merton.
She bloody let me down, didn't she? Bench was
Yeah.
an absolute flop.
Well, I knew that, and I
It was
texted you
close.
afterwards, and I said to you, Merton has been playing absolutely brilliantly. She's been on form, she's been on fire, and Bencic has basically, up until that point, had kind of scraped through the rounds. So, I saw that writing on the wall. The only thing I got wrong, I said it would be 2-1 to Merton, and it was 2 sets.
Yeah, not even close. Okay, so the big matches tomorrow are Novak, Zverev. Looking forward to that.
Yeah.
We've got Williams against Halep. That's also very tasty. Looking forward to that. And then obviously we've got coming up as well, Stefanos versus King of Spain, Rafa. Until next time, we'll be back.